Welcome back to Maze Ways, everybody. I'm Kevin, your side seat driver. We're in Dover, Delaware, and we're going to take a driving tour around the Capitol grounds, give you a 360 view of the area. We're already approaching our first stop, so we're going to dive right in. We're approaching the Green, which was the heart of colonial Dover, dating back to the early 1700s. You can see the original Statehouse as we make this left turn up at the top of the arc on the left. The Statehouse was built between 1787 and 1792, and it would serve as Delaware's seat of government until 1932. It was also serving as the Kent County Courthouse up until 1873. Over the years, additional wings were added between 1836 and 1926, and in 1976 it was renovated to its original appearance, and even more extensive renovations were made in 2007. Keeping our attention to the right here on the corner was the original site of the Golden Fleece Tavern. This isn't that building, but it was built in the early 1730s, and apparently it was a hotbed for revolutionary activity and crimes against the British Crown. But most importantly of all, it was here on December 7, 1787, when lawmakers from the state of Delaware voted to ratify the new Constitution of the United States, making Delaware the first state to do so. The building was torn down in 1830. Back on State Street now, this building on the left where we made the turn onto the Green is the old Kent County Courthouse. This building was constructed in 1874 to 1875, with major renovations in 1916 and again in 2010 to 2012. The building now serves as the Kent County Chancery Courts. Turning left onto Water Street, we're going to have the Christ Church and Cemetery here on our right. Christ Church is an Episcopal church, and it was formed as a mission church in 1704. Construction on the building was completed in 1734, with remodels happening in 1859 and 1887. The cemetery includes a memorial to Caesar Rodney, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. If you caught our Wilmington video earlier, you may recall that Rodney Square in downtown is named after him. He is not buried here, and unfortunately the whereabouts of his remains is unknown. At this next stop sign, look toward the left to catch a glimpse of the Legislative Mall. At the top of the mall, check out an exact replica of the Liberty Bell, one of 53 cast in 1950 in France as a gift to the U.S. And then coming this way, the Delaware Law Enforcement Memorial, which commemorates the 36 Delaware police officers who died in the line of duty since 1863. Go ahead and swing your attention to the left. We're coming up to the Delaware Legislative Hall, aka the state capitol. This building was the replacement for the State House that we saw at the start of the video. It was built from 1931 to 1933. The Capitol wasn't as large then as it is now. It was mostly made up of that part of the structure you see down the center. Additional wings were added between 1965 and 1970, and again in 1994. While I think this is the back side of the building, I actually found it a more attractive angle to look at. There are some interesting statues on this side of the building, and the architecture overall is just a little more pleasing from this side. In my opinion, anyway. On the right, we're passing the Public Archives and the Welcome Center to the First State Heritage Park. And in front, you'll see the bell for the USS Delaware. Launched in 1909, the battleship was commissioned into the U.S. Navy in 1910 and was widely regarded as the most powerful ship in all of the U.S. Navy. In 1917, the ship would sail off to England to participate in World War I. A little more than a year later, it was sent back to the U.S. for refitting and maintenance, but World War I ended before it could ever re-engage. Unfortunately for the Delaware, the war had highlighted major advances in naval warfare, making great ships like the Delaware obsolete, and in 1923 the boat was decommissioned and scrapped just 13 years after entering service. On the right, in this smaller brick building, is Dover City Hall. Although it may look like it's from the 1770s, it was actually built in 1973. It's also our last stop for this tour of the center of government for the state of Delaware, the county of Kent, and the city of Dover. We hope you enjoyed this video and invite you back to May's Ways in the future. Coming up next, we'll be leaving Dover and heading southeast to Rehoboth Beach. See you next time.